What's going on, guys? Gronix here and welcome back to the PCL. Today we have my draft analysis for our Season 4 team going into the season. Cork City Cyndaquils are back. This time we were looking to take the throne as the champion of the PCL. Last season we made it to the playoffs of the first round. We were beaten by Herschel. Herschel then went on to win the entire league and he was the Season 3 champion. This time, we're coming back. I really want to do well. Our team last season was really good. This team, I don't think is as good, but I definitely am determined to do well, and I definitely have the motivation to do well, and I'm hoping to do well. The schedule and all the things are done. We have the teams drafted. Everyone is ready to go. Battles will be up next week starting. Our first game is against Herschel, which will be actually very funny because, you know, he knocked us out of playoffs, so hopefully we'll get our revenge, and so and so. But I'm just going to be breaking down my team right here. The draft happened last night. I'm recording this on the 15th. Hopefully it will go up on the 15th. And it was good. It was a good draft. There were no really big issues. Herschel had problems with some of his mons because he wasn't there, but I think Herschel was the only person who had a problem with his team not getting finished. Everyone's team was finished in one night, which first of all I have to say, everyone who was in the draft, thank you for being very patient and, you know, staying with this. It was like 2.5 hours of a draft, which usually, that's actually pretty short for a draft. But yeah, it took a long time, but it's done now. All the Z captains are, most of the Z captains are in. We don't have everyone's yet. I have mine, so that's why I'm making the draft analysis now. And it wasn't up yesterday because I didn't know what mons I was going to pick. And yeah, I don't do draft analysis where I just like say one mon every single time. I'm going to throw up my entire team straight up. I could talk about every mon individually, why I drafted them, why they were there, and then I'll get into my Z-mons, and that'll be the end of the video. So, our team is Landorus Therian, Zapdos, Megalopony, Kyurem, Registeel, Slowking, Chandelure, Zoroark, Weezing, Slurpuff, and Cradilly. Yeah, so, going into the draft, my plan was to pick up Landorus Incarnate, and then unfortunately got sniped by Milotic much earlier than I was. First round, he said he wanted a sand team in the verses. I didn't really think, I thought he meant Excadrill, but then I remembered Excadrill actually went a few rounds before, so I was just like, oh, he'll give up on it. But he did go Landorus Incarnate. And I went with, and I was like, alright, okay, so I'll just go Kyurem Black, because that was the plan B. Kyurem Black gets taken. And there was another mon, I think it was Mew. There was a plan C, and that got taken like a few picks before me as well. So all my plans went out the window, and it came to me at pick 15 in the first round, and Landorus Therian was right there, and I decided just to take it. Landorus Therian is a mon I've never used in the draft league. I never use it in the ladder either. I really never use it. 145 attack, or actually is it 140, 145? I think it is 145. I don't want to sound like a dumb. Landorus Therian is 145 attack, it has 91 speed, it's decently fast, it has a nice speed tier for draft league teams, because, you know, you want mons that are base 100, you want mons that are, you know, base 80, but you really need a mon that's like base 90, so it, you know, it can, you know, fear your opponent with a scarf set or something like that. Landorus is fantastic. Ground flying is just such a great typing, and especially with our team, it works very well with our team. You know, mons like Chandelure take on the ice types, Registeel takes on the ice types, Slowking, Cradilly, mons like that, so it's good, I like it. And it's a nice U-turn core with Zapdos, who we will get into now. Zapdos was the second round mon. I picked up Zapdos because we could have gotten Raikou. We could have picked Raikou, and we maybe should have, but I knew that if I didn't pick Zapdos, I probably wouldn't have been able to get any hazard removal. And you'll notice from my team, I'm kind of semi-weak to rocks. You know, Kyurem is, Chandelure. I don't have any mon that's like crazy weak to rocks. I don't have a Volcarona or a Charizard, anything like that, but I do have, you know, 3 mons, including Zapdos, that are pretty weak to Stealth Rocks. So I wanted to make sure that, you know, they had some sort of support. Zapdos isn't just, you know, Zapdos isn't enough, but it's okay. I'm pretty happy with it. And the Stealth Rocks have never been such a big issue for me in the past. I've always been able to play around it, so I have no problem having just one mon. And Stealth Rocks are up, it's not the end of the world. We can still play around it. Zapdos is great though, 125 base attack. Or special attack, I should say. 100 base speed. It's a really nice speed core with Landorus, then Landorus being 91, Zapdos 100, and then Kyurem coming up 95. They have a really nice speed balance there. And then we get to Megalopony. It came in around 3. Megalopony is still there. Actually, the mons that are in the order that they are is the when I drafted them. Landers was first, Zapdos was second, Megalopony was third, so on, so on, so on. Megalopony came to me in round 3. I was shocked it was still there. I picked it up. I probably could have got a Mega that fit better for my team, and I'm kind of regretting picking Megalopony, but I guarantee you once I start using it, I won't regret it at all, because Megalopony is fantastic. Crazy fast, hits really hard, scrappy. There's no Mon in the game that can take both normal and fighting hits from it. No, with Scrappy, there's no Mon that resists both of them. None. Which is crazy. Gliscor doesn't resist normal. Skarmory doesn't resist fighting. With Scrappy, I can hit Mons like Oricorio Ghost type, or Driftblim or stuff like that. Gengar. It's like it hits every Mon in the game crazy hard. So I really like Megalopony. I think it's going to be really cool, and hopefully it does well for us. We come into Kyurem. Kyurem was a bit of a weird pick. We could have, I think, gotten Hydreigon, although I think it actually did go a bit before us. But anyway, I picked up Kyurem because I wanted to use it. I've always liked Kyurem. I had it in a league for like 1 week and then I had to drop out because the league was just getting in the way of things. And I wanted to pick it up again because I really like Kyurem. I love how a Mon can be physical and special. And unfortunately, I mean, Landorus can kind of do it decently well. And Zoroark can do it as well. But Kyurem is one of the few Mons that is truly like 50-50. It can do whatever it wants, which I really like. And it's very tough to prep for. You run Choice Specs with Ice Beam and you're going to rip through teams, and if they over prep for that, you bring Choice Band with Outrage, so you're going to wreck them that way. So I really like that. And again, it's weak to rocks, but it fits decently well with our team. It's a dragon that's not weak to ice, which is one of the reasons I picked it, because you'll notice Landorus and Zapdos are obviously both weak to ice, and so is Cradily. It's not a huge deal. It's just something I didn't want to have too many ice weaknesses, because Hail is much more prominent this generation. If we were playing last generation, I probably wouldn't have cared, but because Hail is so scary these days, I wanted to make sure I was okay. Also, Kyurem Black and Weavile running around, I want to make sure I'm okay with those. Even though we have Megalopony, so I think we'll be fine. But yeah, Kyurem's really good. I really like Kyurem, and again, its speed tier is really nice. Going in around 5, you notice I don't really have any bulk except for Zapdos. And I really wanted a good steel type. I was thinking about getting regular Aggron, which is very close, I'm not going to lie. But I wanted something a little bit more... I could depend on a little bit more. Registeel is definitely that Mon. It also fits really well with Zapdos. Obviously Zapdos being able to take on the grounded fighting types that Registeel doesn't like, and Registeel being able to take on the rock types that Zapdos can't. So really nice core, and actually the ice types as well, so it's a nice core there. And Registeel gives us our first Stealth Rocker, or actually our second Stealth Rocker in the game. I always forget Landorus has rocks as well. Registeel is really good. I love Registeel. It's just a strong, confident wall. It really can't be broken down. Unless, I leave it in on the wrong Mon. And, you'll notice with Cradily and Slowking, it's a bit weak to ground, but then I have Zapdos. And then it's a bit weak to ice, but then I have Registeel and Slowking. It's a bit weak to fire, but then I have Slowking. I be weak to fighting, but then I have Zapdos and Slowking. I definitely have ways to cover it, which is nice. Which brings us to Slowking, another Mon that I really like on the team, because it can do what Registeel does, being defensive and stuff. To a certain extent, it's very good in that regard, but it also can be very good offensively, which I like. And it's also a Trick Roomer, which Trick Room isn't crazy strong on this team, but I definitely can use it. Mons like Chandelure are just slow enough to where if I want to use it I can. Mons like Slurpuff maybe. It also has a Light Screen and Reflect. Thunder Wave. It gets Nasty Plot, so it can actually be offensive itself. It could just Trick Room Nasty Plot itself and be awesome. And I really like that. So Slowking's awesome. It also resists fighting, which is important because I wanted that with Registeel. At this point, a lot of water types were gone, so I couldn't get Vaporeon. I couldn't get Alomomola. I couldn't get Gel. Could I get Gel? I think Jellicent might have been there. Actually, maybe Jellicent just went. I'm not sure. Anyway. I'm really happy with Slowking. I love it. I was going to get Tangela with Slowking, but Tangela got taken, so I had to go Cradily instead. I really wanted a Regenerator core, but Cradily is good, so it's okay. Chandelure is the next Mon, and Chandelure is actually very important to the team. It gives us a spin blocker, which is nice. Gives us a few, immunities. Immunity to fighting, also immunity to fire if I run Flash Fire, which is pretty nice. Immunity to normal as well. And I love Chandelure. Chandelure is definitely one of the biggest wall breakers on our team. It's a very weird team because you have like crazy wall breakers, and then you have decent wall breakers, and then you have just walls. So it's kind of a bizarre team, but I really like Chandelure. and you'll see it actually has a bigger role to play in the team coming up in a second. But we move on to Zoroark. I wanted Zoroark because you'll notice no man on my team breaks 100 speed tier except for Zapdos, who is base 100, and Megalopony, which is 135. I wanted him on at least 105, and Zoroark was exactly that. I needed a dark type as well. And on the 3DS you can actually see when Zoroark is a Zoroark, because it'll tell you what move is super effective, but that is not the case on Showdown. So Zoroark is actually still usable. But even if that wasn't the case and Illusion wasn't working, Zoroark is still very, very decent. 105 base speed. It has access to, you know, dark moves, of course, like Dark Pulse. It has fire moves as well, which is important. It's just a really, really awesome mon, and I'm looking forward to using it. Also gets Memento, which is kind of cool, so we can kind of sack it off that way. It also gets U-turn actually, so that actually helps with Landorus and Zapdos. Which is kind of cool. We have Weezing next. Weezing is really, really awesome for the team, only being weak to Psychic, which Slowking and Registeel completely cover. Actually, when I was talking about Zapdos, Registeel, Slowking, Cradily, Weezing, I forgot to put Weezing in there because Weezing is important to that. And Weezing is very, very tough to kill, especially with a mon like Registeel and Slowking supporting it. You know, and it's also good for Toxic Spikes. Now, we don't actually have a Toxic Spikes remover, but I don't really care about that because I think my team, first of all, is very, very offensive, so I don't really care about that. But Weezing can put up Toxic Spike, which is nice. You never know if that's going to be important. Sludge Bomb, Fire Blast also gets Memento. Will-O-Wisp, which is cool. I don't really have a Will-O-Wisp on yet, except for Chandelure, which is nice. I have a defensive Will-O-Wisper, which is, I think, much more important than an offensive one. I love Weezing. I've used it last season in the Elysian season. Actually, no, it was 2 seasons ago. In Elysian season 3, and it actually was on the championship team, the team with Mega Blastoise, Heatran, and Uxie. So I have a lot of experience using using Weezing. I love Weezing, and hopefully it puts in the work for us. Now, the last 3 months, I have constantly brought up that they all have Memento, that being Chandelure, Zoroark, and Weezing. And the reason I said that is because Slurpuff is the next mon. With Memento and the right EV spread, Slurpuff can belly drum on so many teams and just do an immense amount of work. And you'll notice I have Landorus, Lopunny, and Chandelure. Those 3 mons absolutely destroy steel types, which is why I wanted them, because Slurpuff was actually the end game. I was going to get Uxie, but Uxie got taken, so I had to go, or maybe Uxie wasn't taken, I'm not sure. I'll have to check again. But I decided to go with Slurpuff. I was going to go Uxie because Uxie also gets Memento. But Slurpuff is great. Access to Drain Punch, Play Rough. I really, really want to build around a mon that can just like do something really, really scary that they have to over prep for maybe, and then maybe body them with another mon. I think that's really, really cool. It's obviously very, very one-dimensional, but it can be defensive. It does get Wish. It has like 80 defense, 80 SPDF, and 80 HP, so if you max those out against the right mons, it can wall them. Obviously not every mon, of course, but against certain dragons, it might be able to take them out, even though dragons aren't crazy scary against my team. Slurpuff is cool. It's cool, and I really, really like it. Which brings us to the final mon, Cradily. Cradily is a mon that I'm not crazy excited for because I wanted a rock type, but I needed a grass type. And I love rock types because they resist fire and flying, something that's very, very scary in the metagame. But there was no rock type. I think I couldn't afford Regirock because it was tier 4. I could have gotten Rampardos. I can't even speak. I could have got Rhydon, I think, but I needed a grass type. I could have got Simisage, but I could have got Simisage actually. Yeah, Simisage would have been cool. If there's any mon from this team you could expect to drop, it would be Cradily, because I picked up Cradily because I wanted another Stealth Rocker. But looking back now, I don't think I really need it because I do have Landorus and I do have Registeel, and they're 2 very, very dependable Stealth Rockers. They will get rocks up if you want them to. I don't really think I need Cradily, but it does give us a rock type. It does give us an immunity to Scald, which I always like in a draft, because you'll notice we don't really have a switch in a Scald right now. So obviously Slowking can come in, but it doesn't want to get burned because it really hinders its regenerator. And I mean, like Kyurem also resists it, but other than that, like my team is kind of weak to Scald. So Cradily helps with that a bit. But you know, I was gonna get Leavanny, I think, and then Leavanny dropped. I was going to get Sawsbuck in memory of the god, Humble Haunter champ, rest in peace, the former owner. I was going to get Sawsbuck in memory. That was sniped by me, or sorry, sniped by Thunder. which is really, really funny when he was like, Sawsbook? Is Sawsbook available? And then everyone in the call just went crazy because they knew I was going to get it in memory of Champ, and then I was actually sniped of Sawsbook, which is actually a common theme in this draft. I was sniped over 20 times. It became a meme by the end of it. We got a counter going. It was crazy. So, you know, it was a pretty unfortunate draft, but I think it went okay. So we are going to transition over to the document now. I'm just going to show you my Z-Mons. The Z-Mons on this team aren't like crazy obvious. You know, I actually have a pretty decent option. I have obviously Landorus, I have Zapdos, Kyurem could be decent, Slowking could be okay maybe, Chandelure, Zoroark, and maybe even Slurpuff, because Z-Belly Drum, you know, would be a status move, but it wouldn't actually give me the minus 50%, so I could do that. But in the end, the red is the status and the blue is the offensive. So I chose Chandelure as my offensive Z captain, or sorry, my status Z captain, and but it also can be offensive. And I chose Kyurem and Landorus Therian as my offensive Z captains. Reason being is because Landorus has a... Well, let's get to Chandelure first. Chandelure has Z Sunny Day, which is pretty cool. It has Z Trick Room, which, if you don't know, raises your accuracy, so I can go for Fire Blast pretty freely. And it has Z Memento. That's pretty good enough for me. And I really didn't think... the other mon was Kyurem. Kyurem is the other mon. And Z Hail is good, and it is really, really good. But I really, really like Z Memento, because it can mean like Kyurem's Z Hail only really helps Kyurem, but Z Memento could do so much for not only Slurpuff, but also for even Landorus, or even Zapdos, if I bring like an Agility Zapdos. Or Megalopni, I could set up a substitute on something. Or Slowking, I could set up a Nasty Plot and Trick Room on them. You know, there's just a lot of things that Z Memento does for the team that I really, really like. And I feel like Chandelure will come enough to where I will use the Z Crystal with it a lot, because I used Heatran as my status Z captain in the Elite, and I've learned over the season that it really doesn't use that effectively, or at least I haven't been, so it's been a little bit disappointing. But I feel like Chandelure will be a mon that will use the status Z Crystal effectively, and I'm really looking forward to use it. And it also can just use Z Shadow Ball, Z Fire Blast, Z Bloom Doom. It can just use those moves as well, so you know, and it's not the end of the world if I don't ever use the Z Crystal. I mean, it doesn't really change the game too much for Chandelure. It just means I have more options, which I really, really like. Now I chose Kyurem because while Kyurem didn't get the status crystal, I knew that Kyurem would probably definitely be one of the mons, because Kyrem's coverage is fantastic. Obviously, you know, Draco Meteor is very, very scary. Z Draco Meteor means I don't get the stat lowers. Actually, do you get a... What's that move called? It's called Freeze Shock? No, you don't get Freeze Shock. I was just wondering. It gets Z Earth Power, Z Flash Cannon, Z Focus Blast, Z Iron Head as well if I want to go physical or special. It gets Psychic. It's just really, really good. And I like that coverage. I've seen Z Focus Blast. I've actually been on the receiving end of a Z Focus Blast, and it's not fun to take a Z Focus Blast from a Kyurem and get your Tyranitar one-shot. It's not fun, but I feel like Kyurem will be really good in that role. You know, again, like the Chandelure, I don't know how often I'll use the Z Crystal, but it definitely is awesome to have that option. And finally I went Landorus. Now Landorus was the toughest of the, you know, the three to choose. I decided to go with Landorus because in the end I think I narrowed it down to Landorus and Zapdos, because Slowking I feel like will be more defensive than it will offensive. You never know, but I think it will be more than likely. And Zoroark I feel like works better with just like a Life Orb or maybe a Choice Scarf even. I feel like a Z Crystal doesn't really work for it because its coverage isn't really that good. It's just Dark Fire and Poison, and you're just going to catch them off guard. So the Z Crystal kind of is not really necessary. And Zapdos, the reason I consider Zapdos is because it's very, very strong, but Zapdos' coverage doesn't really allow it to do that. It gets Thunderbolt. I think it gets extra... No, actually, does it get extra sensory? I don't want to fuck this up. It does get extra sensory. And it gets Heat Wave. That's really it. I mean, that's really, really all it gets. While Landorus doesn't get crazy coverage, but I feel like Z Earthquake is much scarier than Z Thunderbolt. It also gets Z Focus Blast, gets Grass Knot, gets Knock Off, gets Psychic, It gets poison moves. You know, it's just, and I could Swords Dance and Ground EMZ an opponent, which is nice. So I feel like not only from like a move set standpoint, Landorus is better than Zapdos as Z Crystal, but also has just, it can be physical and special, which is very, very important. Overall, I'm actually, when I first drafted the team, I was very, very bummed out for a while, because I was like, because it really isn't the team that I planned for at all. I literally, Zapdos is the only Mon that I planned to draft that I actually got. And Slurpuff, I guess, but Slurpuff was on like the edge of like, will I actually get it? And I did decide to actually go with Slurpuff. This team, it's, you know, it's weird. It's definitely really, really weird, and it's not, you know, it's definitely not the most well constructed team ever. But I am very, very happy with it. If I do well this season, you know, I think it'll definitely be up to me rather than the team, because, you know, I think the team is very, very good. In terms of the Mons, I think they work well together. But I don't think the team itself is like crazy threatening. Once you get past Mega Lopunny and Kyurem, it's really not as scary or hard to deal with. But it should be fun. I have 5 defensive Mons. Actually, maybe even 6 or 7 if you count Landorus and Slurpuff. I have a few support Mons in, you know, Weezing. I have 3 Stealth Rockers, which is nice. I have 3 Memento Mons. I have a lot of immunities. I have decent speed tiers. Unfortunately, you know, Mega Lopunny can't be Choice Scarf, so I can't, you know. But I do have a 105, a 100, a 95, and 91, so that's pretty good. And also an 80, so I think my speed tiers are pretty well spread out. And then it kind of dips down to like 50 and 40 and stuff like that after Slurpuff. But I do think it's good. I'm looking forward to it. If you guys are excited for this season, make sure to heavy slam the like button down below first. I'm stuttering all over the place because it's really late, but I'll just quickly go over my schedule. We probably have one of the, I wouldn't say easier because that's a dickhead thing to say, but we definitely don't have the scariest schedule, and that's kind of a sucky thing because I wanted to play Aisu, I wanted to play Milotic, I wanted to play Craft even. I don't even know if we play Craft. But we unfortunately don't play any of those. We do play, we are in the same conference as Conmantine, Alex, and Harshal, which is pretty scary. They're 3 very, very good players. And we play the 3 of those twice. So that's 6 weeks right there. The other players we play are Ian, we play Andrew, we play Kip, I think it's Kip. No, it's Thunder. And this is Kip, yeah. And we play those guys. And then we play who else? We play Erasmus, which would be very, very scary, and then we play Jazz. So very, very weird schedule for sure. We play a lot of cool people. We play Ian, which is great because I love playing Ian because I always fucking 6-0 him for some reason. So that should be a lot of fun. But yeah, it's going to be a good season. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be 12 weeks, so it's going to be a long season, probably going to wrap up around Christmas. So it would be a nice Christmas present for me to win this league. But obviously, since I'm in charge now, I'm not really going to be focusing on, you know, coming first. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to have fun games. I'm going to make sure everyone plays their games and make sure you guys enjoy the contest to come. Make sure to go and go to YouTube and look up all the other people involved, including Joey, fitness trainer Joey. You have Ultimately Unlucky, which is Ian. You have Psy Guy. You have Milotic. I think Craft is going to upload a few games as well. A lot of people are uploading for this league, which I really, really love. Jazz actually might as well, which hopefully. So yeah, it should be a lot of fun. If you guys are excited for this season, make sure to heavy slam the like button down below first and subscribe if you're not already to become a member of the Aggro Knights. Make sure to leave a comment down below. What do you think of the team? What would you have changed? Remember, of course, I wasn't going to get everything I wanted. A lot of Mons get sniped, and I mean a fucking lot of Mons. Plan C was sniped for me, so that's how bad it got. But I think overall, I think we still came out with a pretty decent team and a team I'm looking forward to using. So with that being said, have yourselves a wonderful day, and bye-bye.